lad like him possesses the crimson bailage of the God Hand? I've seen this double-edged ploy before.
Hey guys, VALTORIOUS the Awoken here. Now, my idea video of the night is, who's the father of Guts? Yeah, you heard that right. Who is the father of Guts? Now, first we look at the Skull Knight, who is possibly Gygerus, the man who formed the first empire, and by killing and torturing people, or should I say maiming, or mainly killing and torturing people. But you know, we get like some sort of form of backstory where I guess where Gygerus's men all had like the brands on their bodies, making you think if he has shared the same fate as his possibly, you know, near distant future maybe son, you know, meaning Guts, and why the Skull Knight and Guts have two similar enemies, meaning like Void and Griffith. So the question is, can the Skull Knight be Guts' real father? Now going from like the Skull Knight's past and history, and that he has always been an enemy towards the God Hand for some years, even telling Guts that he once donned the berserker armor, giving us more and more details as to who the Skull Knight really was, and maybe how him and Guts share somewhat similar fates. But my thoughts of the Skull Knight being Guts, well, being the father of Guts, I should say no, because if Gysric did don the berserker armor and was eventually killed due to the overuse of it, then it wouldn't be possible for him to create a child. So I was like, it's not really, you know, not really possible, you know, at that point, and you know, let alone raise one. But for candidates number 2, I would probably say like Zodd, you know, Nosferatu Zodd. Now there was, you know, has been some inconsistencies about his age, but I'm going to clear that up by saying that Zodd was once a human and probably was the best friend to Gysric, as he known about the situation between Guts and Griffith, like he lived it once with the Skull Knight. So my thoughts on that would be Void killed all of Gysric's men and ascended himself into the godhood, but then there was maybe like one more thing he had to do, and that's make probably like Zodd into an apostle, which turned both men from friends to, you know, enemies and stuff, as to why both men are so familiar with each other. But the question is Zodd the true father of Guts? Now given how Guts' mother was hanging from a tree, and I mean, it does beg the question, did Zodd get did Zodd get Guts' mother pregnant? Did he get the same treatment like Lisa from Castlevania? Like, well, I should say, did she get the same treatment like Lisa from Castlevania? Because yes, you know, because when you think about it, it's very likely that it could have happened that way. You know, this woman gets her cheeks busted open by a demon, and next thing you know, she's hanging from a tree, but the baby was later, you know, placed in bandit care. So it means it only, well, I should say it only makes sense as to why Zodd helped Guts the first time by throwing him the sword and cutting down the man and his horse. So yeah, that's what I think, but we don't know until Kentaro, you know, comes back and stuff, because it's crazy. It really is crazy when you think about it and stuff, because if Zodd himself was basically like, you know, Guts' father, like there's like a couple of possibilities like here and there, like if it was, because, you know, like I said, like she probably had like the whole Lisa treatment. It was like, oh, who is this guy? And you know, he's kind of big and stuff, and you know, he's kind of killing people, slaying people, whatever, stuff like that. And you know, people probably got scared or whatever. Now, at the time, you know, maybe Void and the God Hand probably called back like Zodd and stuff, and he probably didn't know that he got Guts' mother pregnant, you know, and then she was probably like on the run or whatever until she eventually gave birth, and then they caught up to her, and she was hanging on a tree or something. So evidently it could possibly be that maybe Guts and Nosferatu, maybe, you know, that is his father, but he just doesn't know it, you know. And into one battle when he was like, oh, you know, only person that can like keep up with me is Guts, so it only would make sense as Guts would probably be like the son of Nosferatu, Zodd and stuff. But I mean, there's more like questions and speculations about that, because if it was possible that he did knock up his mother and he didn't know that that's like his son, then yeah, we have like evidential proof right there that they could be blood related. But if he's an apostle, wouldn't you think that that apostle blood, you know, would probably like kick in and be like, well, Guts is just more than a human, he's kind of like them now and stuff? Because I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. But you know, given how the berserker armor is like really is putting a little toll on his body, where eventually he might end up like the Skull Knight. So I mean, all of that is just basically like possibilities and speculations and stuff, because you know, going back to the Skull Knight, yeah, it could be, but I don't think so, because the Skull Knight been around for thousands of years, so it wouldn't be possible. It just wouldn't be possible for the man to, you know, squeeze one more out and then after for a while he got her pregnant. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think this probably like concludes the, you know, who's the father of Guts and stuff. But I'm personally thinking it's probably Nosferatu Zodd. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's probably like Nosferatu Zodd and stuff at this point. So yeah. This was like a little quick video on who I think probably is the father of Guts and stuff, because you know how some of these anime, some of these shows and these movies and stuff, where it'd be like, oh, you find out later on he's like, oh, I am your father, and he's like, no, that can't be right, on some fucking Darth Vader and Luke type shit. So it's like, you know, it could be just like that, or some shit that you see in like a anime or some show, is like he's fighting against a person he never thought was his father, until he find out later it's like, oh, your mother was blah blah blah, and she knew an apostle and stuff. And I was like, wait, who could that been? And then she dated some big dude, and he was a swordsman, and he was undefeated and stuff like that. And then Guts will probably flip out and be like, I think I know who that was. I think that was this dude and stuff. But then he was called off because Void had other future private plans for him, and was like, well, there's gonna be another god hand coming, well, another member that's gonna be joining us in the coming years and stuff. And you know, it was basically Griffith that came along later and stuff. So that's what I probably think. That it could have happened that way, you know, because it only makes sense and stuff. But I might do another video on, is Casca probably pregnant by Griffith, because in the manga, I don't know, it was weird. It looked a little weird and stuff. So I was like, did he or did he not? But I don't think so. I mean, it'd be like a freaking crazy twist. But nah, I don't know. But I might cover a video on that later on in the future. I don't know yet. But if you like what you heard what you like, you know, please subscribe, share, do all that wonderful stuff, and I'll catch you later.